Hey guys, welcome back. How are you all? I hope you're always healthy. This time, we're going to discuss the next sequel, titled Paranormal Activity 3 from 2011, where in this film we will uncover the origin of the terror that befell Katie and Christy. Alright, rather than taking too long, let's just jump right into it. And if you like this channel, as usual, please subscribe so you don't miss any other interesting videos. The film begins with a vlog recording made in September 1988. In the recording, Dennis, the cameraman, and his wife Julie plan to celebrate the birthday of their eldest daughter, Katie. As it turns out, they are the parents of Katie and Christy.
Whoa, what's your name? Oh.
Hey girl.
Oh, I found some.
In the middle of the lively event, Dennis finds it strange when he sees Christy talking to herself.
20 bites. 20 bites.
Under the camera.
Afraid that it might seem odd, Julie quickly asks Christy to join the others. At that moment, their grandmother Lois immediately wishes her first grandchild, who is turning 8 years old, a happy birthday. After that, Lois gives a message to Julie, saying she hopes her only daughter can get pregnant again and have a boy, because she really wants a grandson. Hearing that, Dennis thanks Lois for accepting him as a son-in-law even though he isn't a ship's boss.
Easy. Take it easy. It's dead.
Long story short, Christy and Katie are asked by their parents to have a photo session, and when it's Katie's turn to have her photo taken, it turns out that the photo used to transfer the curse in the second film was taken at this moment. Entering nighttime, Dennis, who works as a videographer, looks busy working on his latest project, which is making a wedding documentary video.
Jill?
In the midst of his busy schedule, Dennis starts to find it strange when he hears a strange noise coming from the children's room upstairs. Worried that something might be wrong, Dennis immediately goes to check it out.
Did you fall down?
In the silent atmosphere, Dennis becomes even more curious when he sees the closet door suddenly open by itself. Suddenly, Dennis was startled when Christy appeared behind him. Shortly after, Christy asked her father not to enter the closet. Although puzzled, Dennis didn't think much of it.
God, you're so beautiful.
Shut up.
That night, while idling around, Dennis suddenly had an idea to make a spicy video with his wife. Despite being shy and a little tipsy, Julie unexpectedly agreed to Dennis's request.
No.
You know what?
However, in the middle of their preparations, just as they were starting to warm up, both were shocked by something invisible that darted past and disappeared to who knows where. What kind of figure could that be?
Sorry.
Dude.
The next day, Dennis's assistant, Randy, apologized for being late after staying up all night until morning. Finding this to be nothing unusual, Dennis meanwhile invited Randy to check out an anomaly that had been accidentally recorded during an earthquake. After reviewing the footage, Randy immediately got goosebumps. He felt that the house was inhabited by some kind of demonic entity lurking about.
How long do the tapes last?
That afternoon, Dennis immediately set up several cameras in every room of the house. Seeing Dennis busy arranging cameras in the bedroom, Julie asked what he was doing. Dennis then explained that this was all just an effort to prove the existence of the ghostly figure lurking in the house.
Don't touch the camera. Christy?
Even so, Julie, not wanting to be bothered, chose to go straight to sleep.
All those, stuff.
Yeah, probably.
Just before 2 in the morning, strange things began to happen. Christy appeared to be chatting with someone in front of the camera. What kind of entity was interacting with her?
Kinda.
The next day, Dennis, having learned about the previous night's incident, immediately asked who Christy had been talking to. Christy then told him that she had been invited to play by her friend named Toby. According to Christy, Toby had a tall, big body and a wrinkled face like an old person. Hearing this explanation, Dennis immediately got goosebumps. Still curious after hearing Christy's explanation, Dennis told Julie that afternoon about his suspicions regarding his daughter's testimony. However, Julie, who didn't believe in such things, felt that the figure Toby that Christy was talking about was just an imaginary friend. Dennis was asked to focus more on working on his client's wedding video project rather than dealing with such questionable matters. That afternoon, Dennis again invited Randy to conduct an investigation and attempt to prove the existence of this demon named Toby. However, in the middle of their conversation, a strange sound suddenly echoed, making the atmosphere tense. As it turned out, Randy decided to prank his boss. At that very moment, Dennis, startled out of his wits, ended up with an extremely upset stomach. Entering nighttime, Dennis grew worried again when his two daughters intended to sleep in a tent set up in the backyard. When Dennis invited them to come inside the house, Christy said they would just sleep in the tent because they considered it practice for scout activities. Feeling unable to force them, Dennis eventually let his two daughters sleep in the tent. Long story short, precisely at 3:30 in the morning, Julie woke up and immediately woke her husband to check on the children. Shortly after, Dennis immediately checked on his two daughters. However, upon checking, they both appeared to be sleeping very soundly. So what sound had they actually heard the night before? The next day, Julie was visited again by her mother. As usual, her rather fussy mother again asked Julie to undergo a pregnancy program because she really wanted a grandson. However, realizing that her family's economic situation was still tight, Julie said that for the time being, she would only have 2 children. Hearing that answer, of course, her mother felt disappointed. Soon after, on the 7th night, Dennis suddenly woke up again after hearing a noise coming from the direction of the kitchen. Instantly, Dennis became confused when he saw the window curtain suddenly close by itself. This incident certainly made him more convinced that something was wrong inside the house. The next day, Randy arrived while bringing a batch of blank videocassettes that Dennis had ordered. It turned out that Dennis wanted to document every strange occurrence in his house based on date and day. Not only that, the creative fellow also appeared to be making a moving tripod using an old fan. A moment later, Dennis immediately showed his masterpiece to Julie.
Check it out. What do you think?
Now, the entire living room area could be recorded very clearly. On the 8th night, who knows what Christy was up to? She appeared to be playing with someone invisible. Seeing her younger sister still wandering around at night, Katie found it strange. The next day, after Julie saw the strange recording of Christy from the night before, she tried to ask what had actually happened. However, Christy said that she didn't want to talk about it anymore and asked her mother to just ask her friend directly. Moreover, at that moment, Her friend named Toby was right beside her on the left. Hearing that answer, of course, Julie felt increasingly uneasy. Meanwhile, in the garage, Dennis appeared to be studying a spiritual book written by a famous author. According to the book, demonic interactions with humans usually occur because they want to collect or desire something from their target.
Christy! Yeah?
Not long after, Katie, who had just returned from buying snacks, intended to invite Christy to play the Bloody Mary game in front of the bathroom mirror. Feeling intrigued, Christy immediately agreed. Before the game began, Katie asked her sister to jointly say the name Bloody Mary 3 times in front of the mirror with the lights turned off so that the figure would appear and meet them.
Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. Christy, I said it 3 times now. Oh my gosh, Mom!
However, before the game could proceed as planned, both were startled by the appearance of their mother, who caught them in the middle of their silly late-night act. Julie mercilessly delivered a lengthy lecture that left her 2 daughters just sitting in silence. At the same time, Julie, who was feeling quite bothered by hunger, eventually decided to go to the kitchen to find something to eat.
Stay upstairs. Stay upstairs.
Suddenly, they were shocked when they saw the chandelier suddenly explode, whether it was just a short circuit or indeed some other unknown disturbance. Seeing the situation, Dennis immediately asked the children to go back to sleep. The next day, Dennis, who was still curious, decided to join Christy, who was playing alone on the floor. When asked what she was doing, Christy told him that she was playing. Amid his confusion, Dennis asked permission to record his daughter's activity. Not long after, Christy began using her father's camera. Seeing her younger sister's increasingly strange behavior, Katie immediately said that Toby was currently hiding in the closet. Hearing that, a curious Katie immediately challenged Toby while asking what was really going on.
You shouldn't do that. Well, I am. Toby! You shouldn't have to do that. Do that.
Then, Christy told her that Toby confirmed that the previous incident was his doing.
How are you?
I got some new beads for my birthday.
That evening, Julie, who was going on a date with Dennis, appeared to be calling a beautiful babysitter named Lisa. After entrusting her 2 daughters to her, Julie immediately said goodbye and promised to return by 11 o'clock at night.
Bye, Julie. Bye, Dennis.
Long story short, precisely at 9 in the evening, after being tired from playing, Lisa asked the 2 children to go to sleep immediately. But before that, Katie, who liked mystical stories, asked Lisa to tell a horror story based on real events. After finishing the story about a ghost in a blanket, Lisa again asked them to get some rest. Without anyone knowing, Lisa secretly did have a crush on Dennis.
Hi, Dennis.
A moment later, Lisa appeared to be passing the time by doing a crossword puzzle while waiting for Julie and Dennis to return. With about an hour left, Lisa was startled when she saw the bedsheet suddenly move and bulge behind her. At first, she thought the kids were trying to prank her. However, Lisa immediately panicked when she realized that there seemed to be some kind of invisible creature in this house. In the midst of her escalating fear, Lisa felt immense relief when Julie and Dennis finally returned home. Without saying much, Lisa immediately said goodbye and left in a hurry, Puzzled by the babysitter's behavior, Dennis and Julie then checked on the children. Shortly after, precisely at 4 in the morning, Christy started acting strangely again, appearing to be playing with the figure named Toby. Until a moment later, the atmosphere fell silent again as if nothing had ever happened.
It's promise.
The next day, Randy got goosebumps when he saw the terrifying apparition that had frightened Lisa half to death. Seeing all kinds of strange occurrences, he was convinced that Lisa would no longer be willing to work as a babysitter for the children in that house. That afternoon, a curious Dennis went to the children's room to check the closet. Instantly, Dennis was shocked when he saw a symbol of a circle inside a triangle drawn using crayons. After examining the closet area, Dennis grew more worried when he saw that Christy had suddenly developed a high fever. Fearing something might happen, he and Julie immediately took her to the doctor. Before leaving, Dennis intended to assign Randy to keep Katie company while her parents went to the doctor. However, the horror-loving child suddenly invited Randy to play the Bloody Mary challenge. Although reluctant, Randy couldn't refuse the invitation.
Say Bloody Mary 3 times, and then you
Try and kill you. Good game. Okay. Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary.
Shh.
Holy
Not long after, Randy was shocked when he suddenly got scratched by something invisible.
Close the door.
In the end, they could only cry as their reckless behavior only further provoked the presence of that figure. Seeing the situation, Randy told Katie to stay calm.
Nothing happened.
You okay?
Nothing.
In the midst of the tense situation, Randy encouraged her to muster the courage to go down to the ground floor.
Randy, where you going, man? Relax.
What does it look like I'm doing? I'm getting all my stuff.
After that incident, Randy decided to quit his job. He preferred to find another, safer job rather than lose his life due to demonic disturbances in that house. Moreover, that afternoon, the figure had made physical contact, injuring his stomach. While packing his belongings, Randy also warned Dennis to move out of that place immediately before it was too late. A while later, after doing some research, Dennis told Julie that the symbol drawn in the children's closet was related to a cult that existed back in the 1930s. It was revealed that the cult, consisting of a group of people, often indoctrinated children and women to give birth to boys who would later be used as sacrifices in ritual offerings to the demon Asmodeus. The purpose of their rituals was to obtain wealth. Hearing this explanation, Julie immediately asked Dennis to stop talking about such things. Moreover, in her opinion, no one in this house was performing any strange rituals as described in his research. Meanwhile, on the other side, Katie, who was playing tag, suddenly panicked when she bumped into something invisible. In the midst of her panic, a frightened Katie said that Toby had just pulled her hair, lifting her body off the ground. Hearing that, Julie tried to calm her daughter down, attributing it all to her imagination. Entering the 14th night, strangeness occurred again in the children's room. Christy and Katie woke up after sensing a strange aura in their room. Moments later, they were shocked to see the triangle symbol drawn on the chalkboard suddenly light up by itself.
Scared? Mom? Just ignore it!
midst of the increasingly tense situation, Christy tried to warn Toby to let go of her sister. Whatever her intention, Christy even promised to obey all of Toby's wishes as long as Katie was released. Instantly, they were truly devastated after experiencing such extreme terror. Meanwhile, in the garage, Dennis was still busy conducting various research to find answers to all the strange events that kept occurring. The next day, after reviewing the previous night's recording, Julie immediately called her mother and told her about all the horrific events she had experienced. In the middle of the conversation, Julie heard a sound as if someone had arrived and intended to check it out. But when she checked, Julie was confused because there was no one outside the house. When she returned to the kitchen, Julie got goosebumps as she saw that all the furnishings that had previously been in the room had suddenly disappeared without a trace. After experiencing increasingly extreme terror and feeling unable to handle it any longer, they finally decided to go to Grandma Lois's residence for a while.
Girls, wake up. We're here.
Oh, I'm tired.
Oh, I got your sister. Come on. Go on in the house. I've got apple pie.
Upon arriving there, Lois, who had just finished cooking, asked Dennis and the children to eat immediately. Meanwhile, Julie, still in shock, tried to talk to her mother and tell her about the various horrors that had occurred in their house. Entering nighttime, Julie was confused when she saw her mother dressing Christy in an old-fashioned wedding dress. But since it was getting late, Julie finally asked her two daughters to go to sleep. Long story short, precisely at 1:30 in the morning, they woke up after hearing a commotion coming from outside the house. Thinking her mother was doing something, Julie intended to check it out. But after waiting quite a while and feeling worried because his wife hadn't returned, Dennis began to feel uneasy. At the same time, without anyone noticing, a creature suddenly appeared with very terrifying behavior. Not long after, a worried Dennis intended to check on the children.
Girls?
Julie?
But he immediately panicked when he found that his two daughters had disappeared to who knows where.
Julie?
The situation worsened when Dennis saw various cult symbols in his mother-in-law's house. At that moment, Dennis began to realize that Lois was likely a part of that cult.
Fuck?
As it turned out, Lois was indeed the leader of the cult that oversaw a group of fanatics worshipping a demon. Whatever had actually happened,
Julie!
Dennis immediately went weak as he found Julie with a broken back, floating in midair. Realizing that his wife was dead, Dennis, seeing that Christy was still unharmed, quickly told her to hide. Feeling that the situation was somewhat safer, Dennis intended to take Christy and flee.
Christy, don't. Okay. Just quiet. Okay. Quiet. Go check him. Okay.
But when he saw Katie crying over her mother's body, Dennis, not wanting to waste any time, immediately tried to take her along. Unfortunately, it turned out that Katie had already been influenced by the cult. Amidst the pain, Dennis struggled to get up. But tragically, after suffering very severe injuries, Dennis finally joined Julie. They both died at the hands of the demon's power, which wanted to take Katie and Christy. After that, Lois immediately took her 2 grandchildren away. It turned out that Lois intended to indoctrinate them so that when they grew up, Katie and Christy would be willing to give birth to male children in order to fulfill the promise that had been made to the demon. Then the film ends. So what do you think? This film is quite terrifying, isn't it? As we have seen, all the terror that occurred actually originated from Lois as the cult leader performing ritual offerings to the demon Asmodeus. What a tragic fate for Dennis and Julie, who had to die because they were seen as obstacles to Lois's ambition to obtain a male child. In fact, Lois was heartless enough to kill her own family because Julie was considered unwilling to have more children. In the end, Lois chose to use Katie and Christy so that they could later give birth to male children who would be used as sacrificial offerings to the demon. What do you think the next story will be like? Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on discussions of other interesting films.